It's 2 a.m. on April 19th, 2024, and Swifties all across the globe have started to cry. The Black Dog, with its heartbreaking lyrics and sonically captivating vocals, quickly becomes a fan favorite, and before you know it, news of a certain blonde regular circulates at a London pub. But what if I told you there's another Black Dog bar 350 miles away from London? That begs the question, who was it who walked into the Black Dog anyway? Hi, my name's Nina. I'm just a Swiftie with an English degree, and today I am coming to you to talk to you about one of my top 5 favorite Taylor Swift songs of all time. Of all time! And today, that is The Black Dog. We are going to talk about it because probably no other song on the Tortured Poets department has a hold on me quite the same way that The Black Dog does. I cannot even express to you into words the visceral reaction that I had when I heard The Black Dog for the first time. So let's talk about it because there is a lot to dive into with this song. And if you enjoy diving deep into lyrical tea leaves and talking about pop culture, don't forget to like and subscribe. I sure do appreciate it. And I know that if you were existing in the same timeline as me in 2024 after the Black Dog released, you likely saw the Facebook post, the social media post talking about how the Black Dog pub in London has a certain blonde-haired stranger who frequents their establishment. And while I don't know if that could be possibly true, I think that the Black Dog pub in London is not actually the Black Dog bar that Taylor is actually talking about when she is singing about the Black Dog. And let's talk about why. First, we have to determine when the Black Dog was most likely written, and there is some evidence that gives us kind of a hint to this. Jack Antonoff, because it's always Jack Antonoff, I love Jack Antonoff, he posted some stills from when he was actually working with Taylor in the studio, and he posted a picture of her singing. Well, actually, I think it was a video of her singing part of the Black Dog for the day that they recorded it. She is wearing a white shirt, and there is florals right here, like a floral arrangement in the picture as well. A lot of people, because she is wearing this white shirt, believed that the Black Dog was actually recorded on May 18th because, as you can see in this paparazzi picture, she is walking in with a white t-shirt and a pair of blue jeans that have florals on them. However, if you look more closely at the video that Jack Antonoff posted, Taylor is clearly not wearing jeans. It's this flower arrangement is confusing the situation and making it to where you think that you're seeing florals on jeans, but in reality, she's wearing a pair of black shorts. So when you take into consideration that in that video she was wearing a pair of black shorts, I looked back at time periods when she may have been going into the studio wearing black shorts. There's really only one that I could find, and that is on June 22nd when she walked in wearing her Eagles sweatshirt. And then I looked closer at the video that Jack Antonoff posted, and does that not look like a sweatshirt crumpled on the back of that couch? I think it's very possible. So my theory, which of course I have no idea, this is just a theory based off of images on the internet, okay, from digging too deep. But my theory is that she recorded the Black Dog on June 22nd in the studio with Jack Antonoff. Tells us the time period that we should be looking at. So let's talk about it. June 22nd is roughly about a week from June 13th, when the 1975 was actually performing in Cork, Ireland. Performing at Musgrave Park, which from my calculations is 2.2 miles away from a cocktail bar called the Black Dog. It's roughly 13 minutes to walk there, and it's also right beside like multiple hotels. So I speculate that perhaps, this is all speculation, of course, I speculate that on June 13th, when the 1975 was playing their show in Cork, Ireland, I speculate that after the show, they ended up going to the Black Dog cocktail bar. Notice Taylor specifically in the song describes the Black Dog as some bar, not as a pub, which the London location is a pub. I believe that that is the moment that we're talking about. I think that he likely went to the Black Dog in Cork, Ireland, which would have given about a week gap in between when she is likely recording the Black Dog and when this event actually happened. Because of the information that we have in the summation poem that she, wrote alongside the Tortured Poets department when the album was released, where she says that in one conversation she tore down the whole sky, likely relating to her relationship with Joe, I believe that this moment where she is watching somebody walk into the Black Dog dog, and she is agonizing over the fact that this person must not miss her. I believe that she is most likely referring to Matty Healy, because that is a relationship that the ending devastated her, because she was fresh out the slammer with Joe to go to Matty. She tore down the whole sky with Joe. She decided to end it. But with Matty, she was ghosted, and she did not have the choice in that. So when she is looking and she is watching someone walk into the Black Dog bar, I highly, highly suspect that it is a Matty Healy situation that we are seeing here. So let's talk about it.
You forgot to turn it off.
I am someone who, until recent events, you shared your secrets with and your location, you forgot to turn it off. And just from this first opening, right, I feel like she is telling us a story. She is opening the page and she is describing to us like an introduction of what's happening. Like, this person was really important to me, so important that we shared our location with each other. And then we get to, and you forgot to turn it off. And I believe in this moment she is talking about more than just a location, because there are many things that he forgot to turn off. I think one of that being her feelings for him. I believe here she is talking about much more than just him forgetting to turn off his location. He forgot to turn off the fact that she thought she could rely on him. He forgot to turn off the feelings that she has for him. And then we see that with this next part of the stanza, which honestly is kind of like an inciting incident of this song, where she says, "And so I watch as you walk into some bar called the Black Dog and pierce new holes in my heart. You forgot to turn it off." And I think that is just another circling back to the fact that it's more than just a location here that he did not turn off. And the fact that she says it actively pierces new holes in her heart shows that this is like an active incident. This is not something that has happened. This is something that is actively happening as she is watching this happen. Like, that pierces new holes in her heart. There were already existing ones because she was already, I think, feeling very unsettled. But then, and it hits me. I just don't understand. And I think the fact that she says, "and it hits me," I think she is having a realization that he doesn't miss her, and that he is able to walk into the Black Dog, into the bar, and he's not missing her. And that is when it hits her that this is real and that it's all over. So she follows that up with, "And I just don't understand how you don't miss me in the Black Dog when someone plays a starting line and you jump up, but she's too young to know this song that was intertwined in the magic fabric of our dreaming. Old habits die screaming." And I think that this is so important, because I picture this as like visualization of her worst nightmare, because I have been reading a lot of interviews with Taylor just over the last few months, and she, in a Reputation secret session, actually describes the fact how she likes to have like relationship bands kind of a thing. So I heavily speculate. We have the mention of the starting line twice in the Tortured Poets department, once in the Black Dog here, where someone is playing the starting line, and we see it with Fresh Out the Slammer too, where she says, "Now I'm at the starting line, I did my time." I think that this is heavily stating that the starting line was very important to them. And for old millennials like me, if you were in your 30s, as Matty Healy recently said, or actually as Matty Healy said when he covered The Best of Me by The Starting Line,
Out of this feeling that we won't give up.
we will remember that The Starting Line came out with a song called The Best of Me that was extremely popular for us older emo kids. I heavily speculate that The Best of Me was important to both of them. Matty actually did a cover of The Best of Me the weekend before he ends up in Nashville with Taylor. So I think that it's kind of safe to say that this band was important for the both of them. She's mentioning it in the songs. He's doing covers of it right before he's jetting off to meet her. I mean, there's something there. So I see this moment as being like her worst nightmare, that he just is ready to jump up listening to their band, their song that was so important to them, and he is willing to jump up and look for another partner, even if she's younger, even if she doesn't understand, even if he knows the importance of that music to them, but this other person will never understand because she did not exist when The Best of Me was popular. Like, she will never get it. And I think that this is her worst fear, that we are seeing, that this is what's happening in The Black Dog. And it is so, so painful. And what a fantastic imagery to describe what it's like with a relationship ending, whether it's a relationship with a best friend, whether it's a relationship with a loved one, a relationship with a significant other, but that the hardest thing is the fact that the old habits die screaming. Like, you still reach for your phone to tell them the news. You still think that you're going to get a text message from them. You still think that you're going to meet them on Wednesday to meet them for lunch, or like whatever it is. It's the old habits, the things that encompass your life that make it so apparent that something is missing. And for her, it's apparent. She is living a life where she feels like she is bleeding while he is walking into a bar not thinking about her. And it's the old habits, the want for him to care, the want to talk to him, the thoughts that she had of a life that now don't exist, that it's so hard for her to overcome here. And it's those old habits that die screaming, the wants for things to be different, the want for the old thing that you thought that you could depend on to still be there. That is what is so hard when things like this happen. See her explain more of what this feels like in the very next stanza, where she says, I move through the world with the heart broken, my longings stay unspoken, and I may never open up the way I did for you. And I wonder here, I don't really know. I don't know that we'll ever know the exact timeline of when things actually ended with Taylor and Matty. I speculate that it was sometime after May 18th, May 19th, May 20th. She goes on stage at the Gillette Stadium and says on May 20th that she's the happiest that she's ever been.
I don't know, I've just never been this happy in my life, in all aspects of my life, ever before.
I can't find any evidence that Matty was actually in attendance that night. He could have been, but I don't know when they actually last saw each other. But remember, People on June 6th reports that they broke up and that it was never serious, and that they were fine, and that it was never a serious relationship, which I will put in a mention of that here, or a little clip of the article so that you can read it. But I wonder if this is part of that, right? My longings stay unspoken. I move through the world with the heart broken. She's not talking about how important it was with her, even when the breakup was announced, right? On June 6th, it's like, oh, it was just a fling. They were having fun together. It wasn't anything serious. But we have the black dog that points to something different, and that it was actually very serious. And she is saying that her longings stay unspoken. She's moving through the world with her heart broken. I don't think that we can trust, obviously, the People article that says, it was just a fling. I may never open up the way I did to you. And that is just such a fear in any relationship, right? That you'll never be able to trust someone the same way again, or you'll never be able to feel the same way that you feel if you feel like you're completely comfortable with somebody else. And we see so much of that with this song, where she says, and all of those best laid plans, you said I needed a brave man, then proceeded to play him until I believed it too. I feel like she believed that she had met her match, that she had met her twin flame, for lack of a better term, and that she had met her twin, that she could depend on him. But then with the black dog, we see it all crumble and fall apart. And I do want to mention her use of those best laid plans, because we have seen her use her best laid plans before in Hoax, where she said something similar. She said, my best laid plans, your sleight of hand. So I don't know that those are necessarily related, but I think it's interesting that we have the same turn of phrase being used for Hoax as we do later on for the black dog. Interesting. We will go over Hoax and we will talk about it more in depth there, but what do you think? If we speculate that the last time that Taylor saw Matty was somewhere in the week of May 18th, May 20th, somewhere around that time period, it would be right around 5 weeks later that June 22nd would happen and she would be in the studio potentially recording this song. So keep that in mind. That's kind of the time period that I'm looking at here, and it kind of fits with the timeline that's laid out in the song. But of course, I am speculating. This is just my opinion. I am just deep diving lyrical tea leaves and trying to find answers answers, but of course, we don't know. And she follows this up with the next devastating stanza, which is actually just this entire song. This entire song is just devastating. It gets more devastating and more devastating as we go along. But she says, how you don't miss me in the shower, and remember how my rain-soaked body was shaking. Do you hate me? Was it hazing? For a cruel fraternity I pledged, and I still mean it. Old habits die screaming. And we hear the use of the screaming here, and we hear the build, and this song begins to feel just like an anxiety, like panic attack, like it's just building and building and building and building on itself, and I love it so much. But these lyrics on top of that are devastating.
Old habits die
Because she is telling us about specific events, which is one of the things that I love most about Taylor, is the fact that she gives us very visual imagery so that we can see it, so that we're not just being told what happens, but we can imagine it. How you don't miss me in the shower, and remember how my rain-soaked body was shaking. I very heavily speculate that this could be about Nashville Night 3, which was a rain show that I know for sure that Matty Healy was in attendance, because I have friends that were there. I know that he was at that rain show, so I just imagine like maybe that could be what this is talking about. But there is also from Midnights a mention of rain soaking, blind hoping in high infidelity, and I just think that that is also kind of interesting. I don't know that they're related, of course, but we have multiple mentions of being rain soaked, so take from that what you will. Do you hate me? Was it hazing? Those lines have always just stuck out to me because I feel like it is such a visceral moment for her. Like, do you just hate me? Like, what did I possibly do to deserve just being to deserve feeling like this, essentially? Like, what did I do? Like, do you hate me? Was it hazing? Which, you know that hazing traditionally does refer to like fraternities where they cause their pledgers to do absolutely like horrible and sometimes deadly things in order to prove to the people of the fraternity that they want to be in it enough. But the follow-up to this is what I find so heartbreaking about these lines, because she says, do you hate me? Was it hazing? For a cruel fraternity I pledged, and I still mean it. And I just think that that is so heartbreaking to me, the fact that she says, like, was it hazing? Is this just a cruel fraternity? But if it is, I still mean it. Like, I will get through this, and I still mean it. Like, the pledge is still real. I still pledge it, is essentially what she's saying. Even if this is a sick joke, even if this is just like a cruel fraternity playing tricks on me for me to get into a club, I still pledge it and I will still do it. And I just think that that is heartbreaking. And it also just follows up with the next line where she says, old habits die screaming, because she is literally saying, if you are just being mean to me for me to get into this fraternity, I will accept it. Like, it's an old habit. I will do anything essentially to keep this going. And I just think that that is just devastating. This whole song is devastating. Build up musically here is important because you feel it with her. Like, you feel the devastation as it grows, right? And I just, chef's kiss, Jack Antonoff, you are the man. I will say it. I just love this song. I love it. It's devastating, but I never skip it. I just will accept the tears and the devastation every single time. Every single time. It's a no skip for me. Here she says in the next stanza, 6 weeks of breathing clean air, I still miss the smoke. And this goes along with that timeline. If what I am guessing at is true with the time period that she recorded this song, it would be right at 5 weeks since she was last spotted physically with Matty Healy. I don't know when he last had contact with her, obviously. We don't know that. We just know that she was as happy as she could possibly be, the happiest she's ever been in her life, on May 20th of 2023. And we know that on June 6th, People was reporting that they had broken up. We don't know what happened on the in-between at all. It is all just speculation. This is all just my opinion. But man, if this song doesn't make you wonder and doesn't just devastate you. But this 6 weeks of breathing clean air, I still miss the smoke. Matty Healy is a smoker, and I actually just did kind of like a review on Joe Alwyn because he collects He collects lighters, but he actually made a point to tell GQ that he doesn't actually smoke. So that's another reason why I believe that if she is singing about missing smoke, I think that most likely that would be more towards Matty, because Joe said in an interview that he actually doesn't smoke. He just likes to collect old lighters. So take from that what you will. That is just my opinion. But whenever I see smoke in Taylor Swift songs, I automatically wonder, is this about Matty? I don't know. When we see another kind of playback in this next part of the stanza where she says, "Were you making fun of me?" with some esoteric joke. And that makes me think again about that hazing comment, because esoteric is just like, you're not in on the joke. Like, they know something that you don't know. Either you don't understand the whole picture, they haven't given you all the information, but somebody else knows something that you don't know, and that's what makes it esoteric. So, were you making fun of me with some esoteric joke? Did everybody know that this was a joke but me? Were you in on something that I didn't know? Now I want to sell my house and set fire to all of my clothes, as if she just wants to start again, and hire a priest to come and exorcise my demons, even if I die screaming. And I just want to take a moment for this line, and hire a priest to come and exorcise my demons, because I think after deep reading this lyrically and doing my deep dive on Midnights that I'm currently in the middle of, I really think that Taylor feels as if she is the problem. And we see that with The Prophecy, we see that with Anti-Hero, we see it here with her saying, I need to hire a priest to come and exorcise my demons, because she has demons that she thinks that she needs to exorcise, because I believe that at least in this time period, she thought that she was the problem. And we see that with The Prophecy. We see that with her mention of, in Dear Reader, where she says that she is, that these are the desperate prayers of a cursed man, as if she is cursed, as if she has demons that need to actually be exorcised by a priest, because The Prophecy says she can't find love. And I think that she really felt like this at this time, and it kills me. It kills me. That's what kills me here. But she says here, and hire a priest to come and exorcise my demons, even if I die screaming, and I hope you hear it. And I just think that this is a point to the devastation that she's feeling. This screaming that we hear musically too is devastating. It's that buildup that we've been talking about throughout this song that just keeps building higher and higher and higher. And I hope you hear it, because she wants him to know that she is devastated. And the song is just a work of art. It's a heartbreaker. It hurts every time, but a work of art, yes. A Grammy winner, it should be. Can we get this on the list, please? Can we get the Black Dog on the Grammy list for next time? Is it too late? I feel like this last stanza, it's like she's almost ready to move on, or starting to like realize that all of this was a lie, and she's like gotten out her feelings, because then she follows it with, it's like almost like all of these feelings, all of this buildup has happened, right? Until I hope you hear it, until all of this is built up this far. And then she says, and I hope it's shitty in the Black Dog, when someone plays the starting line and you jump up, but she's too young to know this song that was intertwined in the tragic fabric of our dreaming. 'Cause tail between your legs, you're leaving. And this personifies him as a dog, right? Like essentially, like he is now the Black Dog. And I think that she frames this as, and I hope it's shitty, because even if this moment in the Black Dog isn't the moment that the starting line plays up and he is dancing with somebody else, even though they're too young to understand it, like she knows that that's coming. And I think that we can kind of see that in this next stanza, because she's just saying, I hope that all of this is shitty. I hope it sucks. You were too afraid, tail between your legs, you're leaving. I still can't believe it, because she is still devastated, because old habits die screaming. And that's how she ends it. She ends it as saying that he was too afraid to essentially love her the way that he promised that he would love her. She can't believe it, because she truly trusted him and thought that things would be different potentially this time. But old habits die screaming. And this whole song, she is talking about how old habits die screaming. And I heavily believe, just based off of the timelines that we look at and things that she has talked about in other songs, that, like, you know, it's a real fucking legacy over me to leave. And what if an old habit that is also dying screaming is the fact that he told her that it could work and then he left? That also could be an old habit that is dying screaming, like he just left. That's another old habit that has just come back and now she's screaming, because it just keeps happening. Of course, I have to mention the very ending here, where she can't even get out the final word, where she says screaming, and her voice cuts in, and you can actually like hear the devastation in that final note. She can't even get out the word. And the black dog is everything, and it deserves so much appreciation. And I don't know that there is a sadder song on the Tortured Poets Department, the anthology. I really don't, at least not for me. The Black Dog is devastating in all the worst ways, but it's also devastating in all the best ways, because you really feel it. And I think even if you haven't gone through a situation similar to this, you understand it, because you understand what it's like when things in your own life have to change and old habits die screaming, right? I think that just the way that she presents this, the way that she shows us like specific imagery so that we can picture these people dancing at a bar and being happy while she is at home with her phone watching it happen from, 1,000 miles away. There's just something about that is universal, and I love it, and it would have won a Grammy. I am saying it would have won. Probably not, but I just think it would be my song of the year. That's just all I'm going to say. It would be my song of the year. Tell me, do you think this song would have won Song of the Year? She would have put it up at the Grammys? Let me know in the comments down below. Let me know if the Black Dog gave you a similar reaction. If it is a favorite on the anthology or Tortured Poets Department for you, I would love to talk about it. Do you see it as more of a Matty song? Do you see it as more of a Joe song? Do you agree with me that the timeline kind of fits with Matty? Let's talk about it in the comments. I do not know everything, obviously. I am just a lyrical tea leaf reader. I am just a Swiftie with an English degree. I just like to look into things a lot. So let's talk about it in the comments below. I am actively working on other videos that are going to be coming out soon. My Midnight Deep Dive is coming. I also want to do Question. Peter, leave in the comments any other songs that you want me to do pretty soon, and I always will read the comments. If you're into Taylor Swift lyrical deep dives and like talking about music and lore and things like that, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. It really helps. I am still a new channel, and I am just trying to grow. So if you're into this kind of thing, don't forget to subscribe. Thanks. Bye.